Thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. My glazing studio is ugly and I don't want to spend any time in it. I don't know about you, but I am really affected by my environment and the vibes are off in here. I don't even want to call it a glazing room. It's basically just a chaotic storage with a kiln and a semi-functional table. I can't believe how long I've been living this way. I would call it pure function, but it's not even that. There's no organization, there's no storage, things just pile up on the floor. So the goal here is to make this space actually function, and I also want to make it cozy, so I actually want to spend time in here so I can make more art and more pottery. Also, I only have 5 days to do this because I actually need to use this room and it needs to be put all back together by the end of this. So I'm not actually starting from complete square one. A year ago, I removed the wallpaper, I painted, and I put in flooring. But I was on a huge budget back then, so I literally bought like the cheapest materials. The paint is builder grade whitewash, and I think I paid like 10 bucks for the secondhand laminate floors. So the goal for the day is to basically make a plan. Also, I should probably do some organizing because I don't even know what I have. Like, this is just chaotic. I need to figure out categories and like what sort of storage I need, what sort of systems I need to put in place to make an efficient workflow. For whatever reason, when I moved here, I decided that this would be a clever way to store extra glaze. So I buy, is it like 25 kilo? It's like a massive bag of white glaze. I bought it years ago and I still have a quarter of it or something. So what I did was I bought a second one of these. This is such a cool little storage guy. I bought one for the plaster and I was like, I'm gonna buy a second one for this ridiculous glaze situation. This is a dog food or pet food storage container. It's 40 liters, I believe. So I think this is gonna be a really nice win to kind of make me feel like this is not all hopeless. It's just transferring this into this and getting rid of this because this is just been on the floor forever. The one thing that I did learn about this though is it's really handy though to have a mobile flat thing. So I was thinking instead of something like this, I should get like a cart or something that I can wheel around the studio and, you know, set things on it. Okay, let's transfer this. I'm gonna get my respirator though. Also just a bunch of stuff here that do not need to be here, like shelf brackets. Chalkboard from my old studio. It fits perfect there. Remember these guys? I really want to hang these in here somewhere. Random tile from my chessboard. Okay, we've got some kiln accessories here. So my plan is to put all of these guys on a shelf next to the kiln because this is just taking up so much space. It gets so disorganized. So I do need some storage for pottery that's like waiting to be sold basically. So I'm thinking some of this shelf will be that. Back when I was actually tracking my firings. Oh, and I just have like random stuff. I've got like tiles from my tile mirror project. Remember that? I don't know, what do I do with that stuff? I don't want to get rid of it. Oh my God. These are the missing pieces for my table. This is why my table is so wobbly. I don't even know. How am I gonna paint this room with so much stuff in it? I need to make a plan. Let's take a little break to talk about today's sponsor, Squarespace. If you've never heard about Squarespace before, they are an all-in-one website platform that artists and entrepreneurs use to stand out online. I've personally been using Squarespace ever since I started my online business, and I'm still using them for my website today. There are a few things that I love about Squarespace, one of which is their online store, where you can sell pretty much anything: physical goods, online classes, services, and even memberships. 2, they just launched a really cool AI feature called Squarespace Blueprint that makes setting up your website, tailoring your brand, and optimizing for SEO even easier. And 3, once you have that online store set up, Squarespace offers really flexible payment options. So your customers can have a seamless ordering experience using PayPal, credit cards, Apple Pay, or even Afterpay. So if you're ready to take selling your pottery to the next level, or you're just looking for an online home for your art, I really recommend Squarespace because they make the most beautiful websites and they make it really easy. So head to squarespace.com right now for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/potterytothepeople for 10% off your very first website or domain. Now let's get back to the video. Good morning. So I did quite a lot off camera yesterday. I basically cleared out most of the room. I've still got my clay, trash bin, one shelf, kiln, and table. This is the stuff that I'm just hoping to push into the center of the room while I do the walls because it's just big. I don't want to move it out. I did make one terrible mistake, which is last week I got all new clay delivered. This amount of clay that I have here is peak clay, which is awesome in a way because then I know like how much space I need for the clay to take up, but it's all against the wall, which means if I'm going to paint, I need to move it all again, which sucks because I just moved it all last week. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. We have a lot to do today. I don't usually get started so early, but there's a lot to do. Let me share with you the plan. The room is a big box. We've got a door on one side, a window on the other. The only thing that's fixed in the room is the kiln because the outlet is here and of course I need it to go outside for the exhaust. So everything else is flexible, but I am going to keep more or less the structure the same. So over here, this is going to be the main glaze storage. I have a lot of my glazes in big buckets that sit on wheels here, but something that I was missing is a place to store the small buckets. So I'm thinking about making like a shelf here, just a really long, built in to the wall kind of shelf. This shelf is going to extend all the way over here. And that can hold all of my kiln furniture because right now there's no location to store my kiln furniture. It's just piles up wherever. And then back here, I was thinking of a big swatch board because I also don't have a properly sized swatch board. Back here, this is going to be where I store all of my finished pottery. The top half is going to be for finished pottery. The bottom half is going to be for extra glaze buckets, empty glaze buckets, plaster tools, and like miscellaneous things. Over here, we've made it to the final corner. So we've just come from here. Now we're back in the final corner, the windows here, the kiln's here. This is going to be clay storage. It's going to continue to be clay storage, but this is where the big daddy shelves are coming in. I need a place for finished greenware or even finished bisqueware, pottery that's in process. I don't want to have it in the main studio space because I glaze in here. It doesn't make sense. So my plan is to put in track shelving here. Just above the clay, I'm going to have probably 3 rows of shelving. So that's the plan. Let me talk to you about paint color. This is where things get exciting. This is going to divide y'all. So I did make it to the hardware store yesterday and picked up a bunch of paint swatches. I'm gonna go for yellow. I don't know how you guys are gonna feel about that. I freaking love the color of yellow for walls. I don't know if you follow me on Instagram, but I recently painted my kitchen yellow and the feedback on that was extremely mixed. This is where it's at. We're gonna go two-tone. This is gonna be the bottom half. This is gonna be the top half. And the bottom half is also going to get da-da! This is Wallpaper beadboard. All the reno shows I watch are in the States and they always have these giant panels of beadboard. This is not something that exists here in Germany, but I found out from a fellow YouTuber who also lives in Bavaria. Her channel is called Cloudy Hills. She's awesome at like DIY and interior design stuff. Go follow her. She used this and she recommended this to me, so I picked some up. And I have no idea how it's gonna look. Everything looks different on camera than it does in real life, so I hope that it looks like real wall paneling. And this is my hope, is I'm going to move everything into the center of the room, attempt to put the wallpaper up and get the paint. And then ideally, we have the first coat of the upper half of paint done by the end of the day. This is my goal. don't know if we're gonna achieve it. So let's start with moving everything to the center of the room. This is also a lot less stressful than I think normal wallpaper because it doesn't matter if it gets dirty. Like I'm just dropping it on the ground and smearing the glue around and it's fine because it's all gonna get painted over. What I'm finding helps is running my fingers along these little bumpy bumps after gluing it down because you can get a little air pocket or glue pocket behind them. And the whole point of adding this wallpaper is to have the bumps. So I'm just pushing that out. Wow, that was intense. I mean, it wasn't hard. It's just very tedious, I suppose. I mean, I don't even know how well you can see it right now. It's like, whether or not it looks like wood paneling is very TBD. Right now, it really just looks like paper. It looks like wallpaper, especially because the wall is not perfectly flat. It's got some wobbles to it. And so that's making the paper wobble. And so you can kind of see the shadows in the paper. Let's see how it looks when it's painted, when there's stuff in here as well, because that might completely change how it looks. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm happy to be done with this. Will I ever wallpaper something again? I am not sure, but it was a good experience. Good morning. I got paint. The walls are looking so good. I think when they dried up, it sort of tightened it all up. I'm super excited to get paint down on it. So first thing I need to do is make this all straight and then we can paint. Ooh. Ooh, ooh, ooh. That's awesome. I like that. It's mostly yellow, but it's a little clay colored, which is also something that I was excited about. There's a little bit of grayness to it. I like it. This color is kind of freaking me out. It's very, very yellow. But I'm trying to tell myself it's going to dry brighter because that's just what happens. It dries brighter. So I gotta trust the process. Okay, painting is done. I'm anxious to see how it's all going to look tomorrow because right now, I'm not convinced. I love, this color here is perfect. This color, and it's dry now. So it's like, this is the final color. This color is still wet. We're going to hope it dries a little bit less French fries. We have a yellow room. I have to tell you what happened last night as I was unloading all of the footage from my camera. I had a crisis moment. I really was starting to second guess myself. I was thinking maybe I should have gone one tone lighter. It's very yellow and I don't know how it's appearing in the camera right now, but What I realized is that I had set my white balance for the room as it was white, and as I was painting it yellow, the white balance actually changed. So the yellow yesterday, at least on camera, I believe, unless Carolina does some magic in post-production, the yellow yesterday seems so much more yellow and intense than it does today, because I have the white balance reset to this yellow room. Even though this is my job, I'm still not very good with cameras. Currently, I'm feeling pretty okay about this color. It's intense, but it is also because there's nothing in the room. There's nothing on the walls covering it up. We're gonna put up a ton of shelving. We're gonna put up some pictures. We're gonna put stuff in here. So it's not going to be like yellow everywhere you look. Although it is kind of giving yellow wallpaper vibes, if you know the short story I'm talking about. Today, we have a big day ahead of us. I'm going to put up, theoretically, all of the shelving, and then I also need to put up some trim around the edging where the wallpaper hits the normal wall, because there needs to be some sort of transition element here to make it look finished. And then I think I'm gonna paint that trim yellow. So let's get into it. I don't know what to start with. So I bought this wood, and then I have some old wooden supports left over from my old apartment that we're gonna use. They don't match, but it's fine. I might even paint them yellow. I might, let's see. But the idea is this goes here. So how do we do this now? Like that, we have a shelf. So let me know down below in the comments if you think I should paint it or not. If I were to paint it, I'd paint it the same color as the bottom, like the darker yellow color. Moving over here to make a transition right here, I got these little bits of trim. And I'm gonna put these everywhere there's not a shelf that's going to create that transition. I've never done this before, and I'm a little nervous about it. I have this glue here, so I'm gonna glue them. And then in addition, I have a nail gun. So here's the deal. All of the DIYs you see on the internet are, I don't know, 99%, they're American households. Y'all be producing a lot of videos. And this shit is brick. So we're not talking about drywall here. I don't know if I can nail into the wall and have it stick. I tried that with the floorboards here, and it sort of worked, sort of didn't. So we're gonna see if it's gonna work. But anyway, I'm going to glue it also. So if the nails don't work, hopefully the glue does. Okay, I haven't put trim up here yet because I'm going to put track shelving in, and the rails, they could just get in the way of the trim, or the trim would get in the way of the rails. My plan is to put these big boys up here. This is 30 centimeters wide, which is the same width as my wearboards. So that's why I'm doing that. And I've sort of spaced it out. So I would like to have the bottom row have enough room for my fan, because occasionally I would like to dry things here. I don't really have a spot, like a permanent spot to store my fan, like a drying station. Does annoy me a little bit the track doesn't go to the ceiling, but it's fine. My pencil is all the way over there. That is unfortunate. Good morning. I am loving how this is looking. I was very on the edge for a long time. For a long time, I was worried that it was a little bit too much, but now I'm kind of getting used to it and my eyes are adjusting and I freaking love it. And it's gonna be so much nicer when we actually get some stuff on the walls and start filling these shelves to distract a little from the boldness of the yellow. I'm starting to call it buttercup yellow. I actually think it's perfect. I know you guys are gonna have different opinions. Just know that I'm happy with it. It's fine. You guys can do whatever you want to your studios. I visited the thrift store this morning and I got some picture frames. So I've got the silver boy. I've got blue because we do need to add some cooler colors back into this room to balance the warmth. And you can't go wrong with some wood. I don't know which one of these I'm gonna use, but whatever I don't use down here, I can always use upstairs because upstairs is constantly a work in progress. First thing we need to do today though is start putting the room back together. I need to move all of the clay back, just start organizing things. And then we're gonna get to the beautiful parts, which I'm really excited about. This is gonna be the fun day. Okay, we've got the shelf all organized. Here's some dry stuff that I was talking about earlier. And I have a little bit more dry stuff here. This is all of my dry glaze materials. And then down here, I'm keeping all of my buckets. And then there's 2 extra materials down here. Lots of buckets. And then I've got all of my small buckets of glaze here. And I've got a little extra room so I can fit some more, which is always good. These are just various states of finished work. This is all stuff that's already listed on the website. This is, I believe, I don't think I had these on the website. I think I need to put them on the website. So that's the waiting area for that. And then these are things that I'm either going to gift or various other ways of getting rid of pottery, things that I don't want to put on my website. You can see the pieces from Florian's work that I said I wouldn't sell, so I'm not going to sell those. And just some stuff that doesn't really match the pottery that I'm doing. It doesn't really fit. So those are going to be gotten rid of in various ways through friends and family. And then we got a whole empty shelf, which is exciting. So I've got lots of room. Actually feels so much more manageable. So this is something I'm really excited for. I did buy one additional piece of furniture for the studio. Let me build it and I'll show you guys what I got. The idea is that I can easily transport the pots from the table over to the kiln and just give me a little bit more work surface. Also, I've got some extra space down here to store, I don't know, we'll figure it out. But I think when I'm not using it, you can live right here. I've had this chalkboard for ages. I used to use it for teaching and I think it might be nice to be able to like scribble things down. I've had this chalkboard since my Berlin studio and it hasn't had an official spot. So I'm excited to finally have it back. These bolts were just too long. That's why it was wobbly. I hope. I hope this is gonna fix it. I'm done. Let me show you around. One thing I definitely should say first is that these frames are gonna get filled with stuff. I'm not keeping the footprints in the sand, although it is very beautiful. I'm gonna fill these with something. I just need to have a little bit more time to figure out what art. I'm probably going to use this, I think it's called the National Gallery. Basically, it's open source art from the museum, and it's a really affordable way to get some prints done. So over here, I have my glazing tools. Back here, the plan is to build a swatch board. I didn't have time to do it this week. I'm gonna do it in the future. Just putting a bunch of nails into a board and hanging swatches, so I probably won't make that a video. And then, question for you guys, should I paint this door? I'm tempted to paint it yellow so that it matches, like the bottom yellow, so that it sort of matches, but I don't know, I'm hesitant to paint over like laminate wood because once you go there, you can never go back. Same with this shelf here. I don't know, I just started to get overwhelmed with the yellow and I thought that the wood would be a nice contrast. Let me know what you think. So I finally have a spot for all of my kiln posts. I can finally organize them. It was such a clusterfuck before with kiln posts just like scattered all over the room. I didn't have a spot for them. Now they can all be nice and organized. Really happy about that. My kiln is in this position as usual. If you know these birds, that means you've been with me for a long time. Over a year I made those, and finally they have their permanent home. You've seen my chalkboard. I already explained all of this. Happy with it. Lots of extra room, thank God. I love this space. It's so much more cozy and practical. It's like a space that I want to take care of finally, because this was just such a dumpster before and it didn't feel good. And now it feels so warm and homey, and like, honestly, it might even be nicer than my main studio. So that's it. There's obviously going to be a few changes in the next days. I'm gonna get some art. I also ordered a lamp for around the kiln area because it does get really dark in there and then I can see better. But that's gonna take a little bit of time to arrive. I hope that this video was interesting for you guys. I just wanted to kind of give you some context for the massive change in background that's going to be happening. This is it, this is why. Also, making a video always motivates me to get projects done way faster than it would be otherwise. So this is really fun for me. If you guys want to see the original, like this is over 2 years ago video that I did, fully renovating this room, as in putting the floors, dealing with the wallpaper, the original wallpaper. I will link that here. Otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, friends.